Okay, this is Big Road Blues, another drop D song. Just drop that sixth string down to D from E, and that's going to be the basis of my monotonic bass. Will be that sixth string for all the D chord action. We start this song off with a kind of interesting little D to D diminished thing, and instead of fretting a D chord like so with 3 fingers, I'm going to fret with 1 finger barring, the first finger barring the top 3 strings, 2nd fret, and my 3rd finger fretting the 2nd string at 3rd fret. This allows my hand, my 1st finger, to stretch out and form that D diminished chord. This is a sequence we return to in the song several times. So I think it's really important to actually be able to finger that and do that slide without whatever finger's fretting the 2nd string moving. So 1st finger barring 3 strings, ring finger fretting the 2nd string 3rd fret. So starting the song out though, you just get the rhythm and momentum going, and then over the verses we're going to do this sort of walking bass thing. Just playing 6th and 4th string, they're both D notes, and then as we walk up, E, F, F sharp. I'm using my middle and ring finger to fret those. You can use your 1st and 2nd finger if you prefer. I like it this way, it feels more comfortable. 4 times, and then we have that the G7. And if you've taken a look at old country rock, you notice, or Chumpman blues, you have the same kind of G7 chord. The middle finger fretting the 5th string 2nd fret, and 1st finger on the 1st string 1st fret, pinky on the 2nd string 3rd fret. Pull off there. Monotonic bass. I started playing alternating bass there for a second. So pull off. I'm going to come back to that little figure I showed you in the intro. From there, you have your bar pretty much in shape to do this A7. You just need to move over 1 string, so you're barring 4 strings. Back to the G7. And back to that D to D diminished. So that's a typical verse. Now I've come up with some variations on it that I use as instrumental breaks. First one comes up here, where I'm barring the 4 strings at the 7th fret, and then using my pinky to come up to the 10th fret. And I'm going to play basically a melody that really kind of outlines, one of those pentatonic scales, either 2nd pattern major, or think of it as either B minor or D major. I'm using double stops through there. There's D, D7, D6. Come up to that 3rd string at the 10th fret. Got a nice little minor 2nd. From a finger standpoint, the probably trickiest thing next is this G7 chord. Instead of going G7 here, we're going to pretend like we're playing a bar chord. And if you think about a regular G or G7 bar chord in standard tuning, it would look like that. But since we no longer have G here, we have to come up to the 5th fret. So I have my 3rd finger fretting the 6th string 5th fret. That's my G. And this, I'm barring 4 strings with my 1st finger 3rd fret, and middle finger 4th fret on the 3rd string. Use my pinky to really play this descending melodies. Come up to the 7th at this dominant 7th chord at the 6th fret. 6. Little hammer on there. So it's a G chord, and then back to our D. Now I'm going to do a descent, which is really just, it's really thinking of different kind of versions of a D chord. Think of that, a dyad, a 2-string version of a D chord. Oops. Barring at the 5th fret on the 3rd and 2nd string, kind of like a D9 chord. Coming down more, so it's kind of like a D6 there, and then a D7. Keeping that monotonic bass going. And then I'm going to do my A7 chord again, but with a walking bass this time. So if I just keep my A7 shape with the bar, and then I can use my 3rd finger to play the walking bass. Open, 4th fret, 5th string, 2nd fret, 4th string, 4th fret, 5th string, 4th fret, 4th string, excuse me. Then, this is what a G7 looks like if you just played it on the top 4 strings. And I will walk the bass for this chord as well. So that sequence with the A7 to the G7. There's more walking bass stuff on this channel. You can look at a walking bass in G and a walking bass in D. But that's essentially what I'm doing here. And then back to our signature lick with the D and the D diminished. So that's the first variation. The second variation is basically playing the same thing that I played over the D chord, but playing it an octave lower. And the key for that one, I think, is you kind of keep that 2-fingered version of the D chord intact with the bar and the middle finger playing the 2nd string. And then you use your other fingers to play the various frets. 3rd finger is going to play the 4th fret. Pinky is going to play the 5th fret. If you keep that in mind, then you don't have to move your hand around, and you can play that melody, and it should fall right under your fingers if you're paying attention to the tab. Oops. And then we play a walking bass kind of riff over the G chord. I'm going to start with G on the 5th fret of the 6th string. Remember, that's tuned down. That's pretty self-explanatory. Then I'm playing a D7 and I'm walking the bass around here, around the 6th string. So keeping the D7 2nd string and 3rd string intact. Yeah, right. I'm playing more of an 8th note rhythm in there. And then I go back to my A chord, do that walking bass like I did in the previous version. And then a similar thing with the G7, but I syncopate the rhythm a little bit more. Instead of 1, 4,